The Prentice Allsup Heating and Air Coaches Corner, fueled by Donut Country and McDonald's Murfreesboro on FM 101.9 and AM 1450 Murfreesboro, FM 100.5 Smyrna, and streaming at WGNSSports.com.
Our Coaches Show brought to you by Middle Tennessee Electric, serving our community by providing affordable, reliable, and safe electricity. Online at mte.com. Talking Laverne boys basketball with the head coach, Tony Rutland. Coach, good morning, sir.
Good morning, and thank you for having me for this season.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good to have you here, and we've got another year, but I haven't had the chance on the air to at least talk to you about last year, and seeing some of the fruits of that labor and the hard work and building the program. It kind of gets you to maybe even being the hunted the next year too, right?
Yeah, we had a great season last year. We made a great run, and that's what I tell the guys. Hey, last year was last year, but we do have a lot of guys that came back from that season, and that's something where we want to go. I mean, just to have that feeling when we stepped out on the court at MTSU, the Glass House. Me as a coach, I felt like I was a player again, and that's something that, I want to go back to, and I think they do too.
Seeing that the finals was made up of teams that you played all year, and the team that you barely lost to in the first round, so right there,
Yeah, and, it went back to details, not taking nothing away from Independence. They had a great year. I think it was their year to win. I mean, they built that team up, and but it was details for us. Anytime you shoot over 70% from the three, maybe 100% from the three, we shot great from the three in the first half, and you're down 12. It was tough, but we allowed two players to make a total of 5 threes in the second quarter, and you take that away, and then who knows what the outcome would have been.
Well, I was just looking over information about your team, and you mentioned those familiar names, and having some of those pieces still there will help you continue to build the program.
Yeah, the future's bright at Laverne, man. One thing that I give the guys credit is they're developing and they're learning every year, and I'm trying to allow them to learn and play and give them some fundamentals that I used to learn when I was in college and a professional level. So, I'm hard on them right now. So hopefully by January or February, we'll be clicking on all cylinders.
Well, last night, I believe it was, played Franklin.
Mm-hmm. Thursday.
That's right. Yeah. It was Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't play last night.
No.
This time of the year, it's not Tuesday, Friday all the time,
right?
Landon Bryant had 27 in that game for you, and also earlier in the week had 10 in the game versus Independence. So you've played a lot of Williamson County teams lately.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting ourselves ready. I think I give my guys credit again. I try not to shy away from a lot of easy games, as they say, but, to prepare us for January and February, we have to go try to play one of the toughest schedules in the state. And I think we put ourselves in that situation playing Pope John Paul. We go to Arkansas. We play, Jonesboro, who is always a state contender. We also played Independence and Franklin. So, I mean, the guys are really coming through. So, we played Franklin on the road, which is always tough. We had a lot of road games. But, playing at Franklin in a hostile environment, to lose by only 4, we had an opportunity to win in both games, Independence and Franklin. But,
that Independence game was overtime, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
And it really, to me, we had the game. But, again, I think it was mistakes by guys who really haven't played a lot, and I think we've gone through this process before, like last year and the years in the past, but we made some mistakes and we learned from it, and we got better defensively the next game. But I mean, Christian Brown is I see why he's the number 1 player, and I give all my bigs credit. Tarsky Jones, Cam Samuels, they did a great job. He made 4 field goals, but he shot 10 for 18 from the free throw line. So that's where it was. But we gave ourselves a chance to win, and, we take it and move on. We'll see them again, and maybe possibly a state, championship matchup.
Mm-hmm. We're talking here with Laverne coach Tony Rutland. Steven Sherman is another one of those familiar names, and Bryant and Sherman have been kind of the steady force offensively. And but talk about some of the new additions that we might see for Laverne.
Well, it's really not new additions. It's just more of guys stepping up. Tarski Jones is a forward that, he's a junior. He's been playing. He's probably like one of our top scorers in the paint. He's doing a really good job on both ends of the floor. He had a bad summer where he was injured. So right now he's really going through his summer process of getting back in shape and playing. And right now he's starting to catch his second wind. Very aggressive, physical, down low, has a good touch. We have Jason Amir, who is a senior, has a good touch. He's a big. A.J. Wright, who is a big for us. They're juniors. But, we also have Cam Samuels, who's one of our Mr. Everything. Caleb Samuels, who's going to be stepping in for Zy Lanier, our point guard. He's starting to get game experience. He's going to have his ups and downs, which we know. But, it's a process, so those guys are really starting to step up. And, as overall as a team, I really like where we're at. We're young still, even though I got Landon, who's a senior, and Cam is a senior, but everybody else is juniors and sophomores and freshmen. So we're trying to find a niche and trying to find our role as far as how this team is concerned.
Well, and that's what you do this time of the year. When making Laverne's first ever state tournament run last year, and I just think back to all of those great Laverne teams that just couldn't get there, and sometimes success builds upon success, and that starts a tradition. You can look at the Oakland teams of Randy King, yep, and the Barry Workman teams, yes, of Blackman, yes, and so that is a good thing. But you always know that this time of the year, you don't want to necessarily play your best. No. You want to be playing your best in February and March.
Yes, and this is the time where we put our guys in tough situations. So now we can prepare ourselves, different situations in practice scenarios, get guys repetition in game-like situations, whether we're down or we're up, the speed of play, different plays. So once we get that going and we can click on all cylinders, I think it'll be pretty good. But again, from my start, only winning 4 games from my first year till now,
yeah,
we're starting to build the foundation, and I think the guys are really understanding, like, it's a process. Our saying is it's a marathon, not a sprint, and that's where we're at. So we're in the first part of our marathon, and hopefully by February, getting down to the stretch, we can have enough energy to go.
We're really just maybe finishing the first mile of that marathon, right now. Tony Rutland with us as we talk Laverne boys basketball here this morning. Talk a little bit about your district. Last year, the district was brutal. And this year, I don't know, it's probably going to be about the same. But I think everybody seems to be, those teams that were maybe at the bottom of the standings last year seem to be a little bit better, a little more even.
I think it goes back to those guys were young. A lot of teams were young, so now they have the experience of playing the great teams from last year, and so they're going to be better this year. Smyrna is definitely going to be better. Stewart's Creek, Wilson Central is going to be better with their new coach, and then Lebanon, who had a tough player that's back for his senior year. So it's up for grabs.
Lebanon was extremely young last year, weren't they?
Yeah, so I believe they have everybody back, and so it's going to be really, really tough because now every team has veterans that been through the situations, been through the trenches. So, again, I think it's just going to be very tough this year.
Yeah, I think of Coach Dowell, and great. You've got a lot of great coaches in the league too,
Yes.
which makes it super competitive. And then when you put the region with it, I mean, it's almost like if you can survive and get there, you've got as good of a chance as anybody.
And that's it. I think Williamson County has one of the toughest districts as well. They're very big, but for Rutherford County and our district, I think those are the two toughest. I mean, you got Metro and stuff like that, but man, if you're battling every day, twice, you're doing something. So I think it's just a matter of us just staying healthy, of course.
Sure.
I think for all the teams, and just maintaining and playing our game.
I did want to make sure I had a little bit of time here to talk about next year, because next year the districts are all different. They're going to be 4-team districts.
Yes.
You add Blackman to yourself, Stewart's Creek, and Smyrna. It's going to look really, really different.
Yep.
And that Williamson County that you talk about, that's the sectional airtime,
Yep.
So that's going to be super competitive.
It will. I think we're no strangers to Rutherford County. Of course, my first year we had it was just a big district. I don't know how it's going to be as far as games, but I'm pretty sure that everybody will probably play each other, no matter what. If
You
it's
have so many non-district games you've got to play. I don't know how you don't.
And it's going to be tough because, again, you have other districts that's probably going to be in district play. So why not play at that time and make it home and away games? But I guess we'll decide that later on. But it's going to be tough, man. You put Blackman in there, they're always going to be methodical. They're going to have their plays. And then you still have, the other teams that we've been facing for years. It's just going to be a good 4-team district. And then competing against other Rutherford County teams is always going to be tough.
But if you think about your regular season, only 6 of those games are district. The rest are non-district, and you've got larger districts around.
Yep.
They're going to be in play a couple of weeks before you even need to begin.
Yeah, and I think that's just the biggest question. So I don't know if we just combined it and still play early the other teams in the the region, and just at the end of the day, almost make it a Rutherford County district without being a Rutherford County district.
Yeah. Let's see. Games the next week, what does that look like for you?
We play East Nashville next Friday, and then we turn around and play Antioch the following Tuesday. And I forgot who we – I think after that it might be going into something.
A holiday break,
Yeah,
I think.
holiday break, yeah. And then we have Brentwood and Franklin again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
wow.
at Riverdale's Classic. So, again, I'm off looking forward to the tough games. If my guys can withstand all of it, I'm pleased.
Well, we'll have a chance to talk to you right before that Christmas break there, and looking forward to it. Coach, thanks for coming in this morning, and look forward to following the Wolverines this year.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Tony Rutland joining us on the Coach's Show, brought to you by First National Bank of Middle Tennessee. If you're looking for a hometown feel with your bank, turn to First National Bank of Middle Tennessee, offering full-service banking and mortgage services.